Reports of dysfunction in Vice President Kamala Harris's office keep coming. Several high-profile staffers jumping ship as her approval ratings have tanked. The Washington Post quoted a former staffer, quote, "With Kamala, you have to put up with a constant amount of soul-destroying criticism and also her own lack of confidence. So you're constantly sort of propping up a bully, and it's not really clear why," end quote. The exodus continues, by the way. A Politico headline reads, Harris allies want her to take the reins as a staff shakeup looms. Key members of her orbit are leaving, and even more are eyeing the exits. Mark Thiessen with this.
These are not conservatives that are criticizing her from without. These are people who went to work for her, who believed in her, who wanted to help her, joined her cause, and they're quitting or preparing to quit and complaining to the media. There are plenty of world leaders in history who've been tough to work for, but she's not succeeding in her job. She's failing at her job. People will put up with mean. They're not likely to put up with mean and incompetent or mean and lazy.
Will Cain, Fox and Friends weekend host. Will, great to see you. Critics will say, oh, you know, this is just palace intrigue. Pay no attention to it. Why is it worth paying attention to at this point?
I think it's worth paying attention to because it provides us a lesson about the past and the future. Harris, first, when it comes to the past, you picked, I think, really that operative line in the article, and it is that Harris accompanies bullying with insecurity. There's an inherent insecurity in affirmative action, Harris. What I mean is there's this nagging sense that you didn't earn it and you don't know how to fulfill your responsibility, your obligations. Wow. I think it's pretty well known that Kamala Harris didn't earn her position. She polled at, what was it, 2% within the Democratic primary. She has never been a big winner in politics. There's never been a big indication the public wants more Kamala Harris, but she got her position because she checked boxes in the identity politics world of the Democratic Party. And that is eating at her, would be my suspicion. I can't speak to her own little personality characteristics or flaws, but I would have to have a suspicion that eats at someone and breeds insecurity. And then for the future, Harris, it shows that the future is not bright for the Democratic Party. Where do they turn? Obviously, staffers are jumping off the ship because not just is it a bad work environment, it doesn't provide much promise. And so where do you go? Do you go to the Department of Transportation? Do you latch on to Pete Buttigieg? Do you hope that Joe Biden has another 4 years in him? Where do you go? It's an instruction about the past and the future.
Yeah, every presidency wants to know that their legacy is going to be passed on, or maybe they'll be there for another 4 years. If she's the option, what I hear you saying is that there is great concern about that option. Did they pick the right person? We'll move on to this. One of her staffers is coming to her defense. Here's what he tweeted, a picture of himself at work saying he absolutely loves his job. Critics on Twitter were not having it. One tweeted, David, blink twice if you were told to tweet this under duress. Another, just thought some of you should know. Is that code for Brandon administration made me tweet this? Another, we know a cry for help when we see one. Will?
Hey, Harris, I didn't zoom in, and I don't know if you can. So that's David sitting at a desk in Kamala Harris's office with a picture over his shoulder of Kamala Harris sitting at the desk in the same picture.
Yeah, I see that.
Isn't it beautiful? It's such a beautiful act of...
I don't know if I describe it that way, but yeah, now I'm catching it.
It's such a beautiful act of narcissism. I mean, support. It's wonderful, Harris.
Oh, so you think even less that it was accidental and that it was purposefully... Yeah, okay. That was funny. Yeah. Plenty of people not happy after some in the media downplayed Bob Dole's accomplishments right after his death because of his support for former President Trump. A Daily Beast columnist tweeted this, Bob Dole went all in with Trump. I'm a Trumper. He knew better, but this is what he chose in his final years. A progressive writer with this, a significant part of Bob Dole's legacy is his staunch support of Trump. MSNBC anchor tweeting, Bob Dole, who endorsed and voted for Trump twice and called himself a Trumper as recently as July, has passed away. Critics are calling that out. One tweeting, zero class. Another, he was also a hero who served his country proudly in World War II. But what does that matter, right? Will Cain, for those of us who knew Bob Dole, as a young journalist, he was so supportive of me in Kansas City. We were both just rock-solid Chiefs fans as well. 98 years young, he passed, and people won't let anything rest. I tweeted about it yesterday. I put out a picture of him with his wife. They're both Chiefs fans, and they're all in their little Chiefs getup. Your thoughts?
Well, first, I think obviously that was intended as an insult. I don't take it as an insult. So Bob Dole supported President Trump. Why is that an insult? In fact, one of those characterless critics said, hey, I thought, supporting Trump was a good thing. Why would you now all of a sudden say I'm slandering Bob Dole? And we know the answer to that. It's because you're trying to. We know your intention. We know what you're doing the day after he dies. And it comes down to character. And by the way, it also comes down to cowardice. Would you show up, MSNBC host, would you show up at Bob Dole's funeral and make that the keynote of your speech? Would you make that the first thing you said to his family? No, I don't think you would, because you're a coward who goes to Twitter and has these things to say that you intend as an insult. Another thing is, you have no character. You have no character the day after someone dies to attempt to insult them. This, by the way, the MSNBC host is one who has compared non-Muslims to animals, to cattle, as pointed out by Sohab Amari at the New York Post. So I think we can dismiss these people as cowardly, characterless individuals.
I have to give you all shades of credit for pushing in on every single tweet that we put up. You're zooming in, you're reading between the lines, you're looking up the people behind the tweets. It is always a pleasure to have you and your skills at digging in focus. Will Cain, thank you. I'm going to brag about you here a little bit because you can hear more from Will. Okay. Check out the Will Cain podcast. New episodes come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yes, he's extremely busy. On foxnewspodcast.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.